pulse hummed through her like a whirligig picking up speed. Before the T&P brought Henry to town, she had despaired of ever finding a husband. She'd signed a 2-year teaching contract that precluded her from marrying within that time frame. The few suitors who had demonstrated interest when she first arrived lost patience and married elsewhere. But all her waiting was about to pay off. Henry reached across the table with his other arm and cocooned her hand within both of his. "I care about you a great deal, Adelaide. That is why I've been reluctant to spoil our dinner with the news I must share with you." "Spoil our dinner?" Unease slithered through her. "What do you mean?" "I received word from the Home Office. I'm to be promoted from salesman to regional manager." Relief so keen it nearly hurt washed over Adelaide. "Henry!" she scolded. "Shame on you! You had me thinking the news was going to be dreadful. A promotion is cause for celebration. I'm so proud of you." Henry patted her hand in a way that felt less like reassurance and more like sympathy. "You don't understand, darling. I'll be working in Fort Worth permanently. I won't be traveling the rail lines any longer. There will be no more visits to Cisco." Adelaide didn't care if she left Cisco. Didn't he realize that? She'd gladly resign from her teaching position and move to Fort Worth if it meant having a husband and family of her own. She'd yearned for such a blessing since the day her father died. "It breaks my heart to think that I'll not see you again." Henry's expression was so somber it frightened her. Was he not going to propose? Could he be so unsure of her answer that he'd not risk asking her to choose him over her students? Yes, that must be it. How could she embolden him without being too brazen? Adelaide nibbled on her lip and leaned forward in her chair. "With all the tales you've told me about Fort Worth's burgeoning society, the concerts, the fancy hotel dining rooms, the parties of the wealthy cattle barons, I would think you'd be pleased to settle in such a town." She lowered her lashes. "I would be happy to call such a place home." Adelaide peeked at Henry to judge his response. His sad smile remained fixed, his eyes unchanged. After a year of acquaintance, she should have been able to decipher his mood better. But in truth, if she tallied all the days she'd actually spent in his company, they would barely add up to a couple of weeks. That's what came from stepping out with a traveling book salesman. Riding the rails was his business. She'd only seen him once or twice a month. Yet, in those few days, she'd come to believe that Providence had brought him to her. Henry released a heavy sigh and then slid his hands away from hers as he sat back. "I wish I could take you with me." "Why can't you?" Adelaide withdrew her hand and fisted it around the dinner napkin in her lap. "He's leaving me?" Before the panic could fully claim her, Henry smiled, a beatific expression void of all worry and disappointment. "Who knows?" he said. "Fate may bring us together again." Adelaide loosened her grip on the napkin and successfully inhaled a full breath. Everything would be fine. It would. Something was holding Henry back, but he still cared for her. He wouldn't have hinted at a future together otherwise. Perhaps this was simply the Lord's way of testing her commitment. As she looked across the table at Henry, she straightened her spine and nodded. They would meet again one day. She'd see to it. It didn't matter what obstacle kept him from offering for her tonight. They would overcome it. The happy ending she'd longed for was within her grasp. She'd not let a little distance or a hesitant suitor steal it from her. Chapter 1. 1 month later. The grandest adventure of her life waited on the other side of these tracks. That, or the most humiliating debacle she'd ever created. Either way, there was no going back.